Welcome to the very first episode of Dr. Vageesh Sabharwal's podcast. Today we sit down with Vrind Sharma to explore what drives Dr. Sabharwal, his journey, his passion for dentistry, and the moments that shaped his path. Let's get into it.
Hi guys, this is Vrind Sharma and we're kicking off Dr. Vageesh Sabharwal's first podcast today. Welcome on your own podcast, Dr. Sabharwal. How do you feel? I feel humbled. Can you believe this journey? Did you ever think that you're going to be doing a podcast with Vrind Sharma? Not at all. Never. Look at that. You finally convinced me to do a podcast and that too, to kick off your inaugural podcast. This is amazing. That sounds like news to me, but they kindly, I've been asked to do a podcast for almost two and a half years. Humbly, I've been saying no. And today when the team said that Dr. Sabharwal is going to do his first podcast, and we're creating a journey around his life and really talk about his humble beginnings and what he's done for the community, I was like, I would love to be part of this. So thank you for having me on your podcast.
Well, Vrind, this is not going to be my podcast or your podcast. It's ours.
Amazing.
We will bring those guests that will inspire the individuals who are watching ourselves. We will bring those individuals who have a story to share, which can uplift not only individuals singly, but also elevate society at large.
You know what? I want to collaborate on a podcast. This is truly what speaks to your humility. One thing I've really seen about you, Dr. Sabharwal, that you're very humble, you're very grounded. You've accomplished so much in such a short time, and I feel every time I meet you, I get to learn from you. And again, thank you for having me on, and let's get this baby going.
For sure.
So my thing today was I want to understand the life of Dr. Sabharwal a bit better today. So I want to know where you went to school, how you kicked off, a little bit about yourself.
So I came from very humble beginnings. I was born and raised in Toronto. My parents migrated from India in the 70s. And my childhood and my early schooling days were in the Jane and Finch corridor.
Wow.
And I had a dream. That if I worked hard, if I did things the right way, the way my parents told me, I would have a good life. I would have a good career. I would be given an opportunity to succeed. And with the grace of God, I listened to my parents and I did. I did my undergraduate degree at York University in mathematics. My mother at that time used to work at the Bank of Montreal, and she told me that I should apply to dental school. And my question was why? And she said because dentists actually make good money because the deposits were good according to her. So I applied to dental school at the University of Toronto. I was fortunate enough that I got in my first shot. I was told that I would never get in, but I got in. And my life's journey began. And no looking back, I've had a fabulous career. I've enjoyed every moment of it, and here we are today on Vrind's podcast.
This is amazing. Well, see, the podcast might be my first, but this is truly your podcast. We want to discuss your journey, your life goals, and we know as we do these more often, our sit downs, we'll really go into what Dr. Sabharwal's life is going to look like in the next couple years. And so coming back to today again, what brought you into dentistry? Like out of all the practices, medical doctor or surgeon?
So while I was doing my undergraduate degree at York University in mathematics,
right,
my heart was set on becoming a mathematician.
Oh, wow.
Math was and is one of those subjects that come to me naturally. I did not have to memorize anything. It was just natural for me. It was a flow. There was no studying involved for me in mathematics. It was just doing. It was like practice, like an athlete practices and enjoys the sport they're practicing. For me, mathematics was like that. However, given the fact that I don't want it to sound as though I've only gone in for financial reasons, that's the reason I was introduced to dentistry. But then I did have an opportunity to go into some clinics when I was fairly young, just to observe. One of those clinics I still remember till date was one of Dr. Leslie Premer near the Yonge and Sheppard area in Toronto. And I was inspired. I saw that what dentists were doing, was a great service to their patients, to their community. And it seemed very fun to me. So after getting advised by my mother and inspired by those who I was lucky enough to observe, I applied to the University of Toronto. And the funniest story is the day I was supposed to drop off my application, it was a Friday. Application deadline was 5 p.m. I dropped my application off pretty much 2 minutes before that deadline.
Wow.
Right? 2 minutes before the deadline, I drop it off. I still remember in front of, I believe it's 124 Edward, we parked our car illegally, unfortunately, didn't get a ticket. Lucky about that. I ran up. I said, "You're still accepting applications?" She's like, "Yeah, we have another minute or so." And I handed my application in.
What a story.
And a few months later, we get this mail. We get a letter in the mail saying that I'm in.
Ah,
Right?
magnificent journey here.
Yeah, that's just how it all began.
So, Dr. Sabharwal, I had a question for you. You spoke about your mom and you had mentioned your dad. Are you married?
Yes, I'm happily married. I have 2 beautiful children.
Oh, amazing.
My son's 20 years old. He has completed second year of university at the Ivy School of Business. This particular year, he is going to be starting his internship in Montreal. Taking the year off. He wants to get some real world experience. And my daughter is also going to the University of Western Ontario, and she's also in the Ivy School of Business.
Okay, that's amazing. And what about the special lady luck?
My beautiful wife, Bhavna, she is my pillar. She keeps my feet to the fire, to say the least. She's a great partner because she keeps things relatively real. As you will find out, as you probably know, I am a person who dreams a lot,
Yes.
who is a visionary, who likes to think in an avant-garde way. My wife, however, brings me to reality, which is required. As a partner, you need that balance. And I'm very fortunate that I have achieved that balance with my partner, Bhavna.
Amazing. This is really, really good. I think God keep you protected. You've got a wonderful family. You've got a wonderful practice. And I think, with all this by your side and the journey that you want to begin, and I think we'll touch that in the next episode. But I don't want to touch everything today, get all the spices out, and then we got nothing to talk about next week and the next, So today was more about understanding Dr. Sabharwal. Who is Dr. Sabharwal? And as I mentioned earlier, I've spent a lot of time with you. I've seen you bring a lot of soul, a lot of heart to the things you do. And which is for me, I as you know, involved in such a large entertainment business. We're producing films, doing a lot of good stuff in entertainment. But it's not about me, so I don't really want to go into all that. So I get to see all kinds of people. And I get to see all people of all net worths. And when I met you the first time, and I still remember, a little while back now, that interaction with you in Starbucks, after 20, 30 minutes just knowing you, I knew this guy's a beautiful soul.
Well, first of all, thanks, Vrind, and I felt likewise. That's why we have embarked on this journey together. One thing I do believe, and I get inspiration, especially from individuals like yourself, you too have done exceptionally well in what you are doing. You, at such a young age, have created such a wonderful media empire. That's something to be envious of. But at the end of the day, what I've realized with yourself, and this is what I wish to practice, because this is what inspires me, what makes me feel really good, is that I realize that I am a guest here. Like is a gift from God.
Yes.
And the journey that I am on, it is my Lord which is directing that journey.
Right.
I am just on that journey. I'm grateful to be on that journey, and I'm going to enjoy every single moment of the journey. Sometimes, as a human being, I do question the decisions, the things that happen to me, but this is life. And that's why we hit it off, because I believe you and I have that same mindset.
Right. I feel that too. You're a lot more wiser. You've seen a lot more. you've accomplished a lot more.
That just means a lot more failures.
And it's inspiring for me. I look at you, I'm looking at, things that I can improve. And that's important. When you look at somebody that's inspiring, that really inspires you to be a better version of yourself, that's key. And I think I find that with you.
Studying to become a dentist. My father, who, by the way, we did not touch upon, but I do want to touch upon my father, because my father, who unfortunately is no longer, he was and is my best friend. And I get emotional, but he instilled in me resilience. He instilled in me that what is the best thing to do in life is to be a genuine, honest human being. And that is my father.
I see that in you, right? Every step of the way, every conversation, I think what makes you really unique, you lead with that. Like a lot of the business people I meet, and with all due respect, and everybody's good in their own aspect, but I always see you lead with humility in every aspect. And I always see you leave a legacy, a presence. And you're right, we didn't get a chance to go into your dad's journey. And as you mentioned now, I feel your dad was an amazing role model for you.
Absolutely. He was such a great soul. No word of a lie.
Yes.
No word of a lie. When we would go out together and people who did not know my father, they would see my dad. They would come to me because I would know them, of course. They'd say, your dad exudes just by his presence that is a good soul.
Right.
Right. I was fortunate that God gave me the opportunity to be born in the house I was, to have the parents I did, because that's what gives me the character that I have. That's what defines a lot of my soul.
Right.
Right. It's that upbringing.
So you've accomplished so much, as I mentioned, in such little time. Today's youngsters, like, as you know, I coach a lot of youth. What would you say to the youth? How would you, if you had to literally grab a generation of kids and inspire them, uplift them, and put them on a righteous path, what will your words of advice be for them?
My words of advice for the youth would be the same words of advice that I would give to my own children. First, dream big. Dream very big. Because in your life, if you have one big dream, you will accomplish it. Second, honesty and integrity is the only way to go. There is no other path which will lead you to ultimate success. And the third, despite all the challenges that come in your life, understand it's a journey. You will eventually get to where you are destined to go, but dream big, because you will get to that point. That's what I would tell all the youth. And that's the mantra that I've lived. And the only thing I didn't do was I didn't dream very big when I was younger. But now that I'm a bit older, I'm doing that as well.
So how much bigger did you want to dream? Like, right now you can, would you want to land an airplane on your house? Like, I'm not doing fucking airplane. You're like, we did speak about the family, but we did miss somebody, because I remember I was at one of your events and you introduced your brother-in-law as your best friend.
Yes.
So brother-in-law comes with a sister.
Yes.
And we didn't talk about her because I met your sister. She's such a beautiful human being.
My sister is a lovely soul. My sister is my pomp and show agent.
Right.
She is always in my corner.
Yes.
She's my number one fan. And her husband is my best friend in a way that we don't act like brother-in-laws. We are genuinely good friends. We look out for each other. We're not there to pull each other's leg or make one person feel smaller than the other.
Right.
We're there for each other.
Right.
And hence, he's my boy.
Amazing. This is because I found it very touching. You're giving a speech and you're talking about him, and I share similar bonds in family. And for me, a person that values their close ones at moments when there's a lot of pressure and multiple reasons to, forget or oversee, and you don't. And that's where I see there's genuine bonds. And I felt that with you. I felt that you had this with your family.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that my family and myself, we have very tight bonds.
Yes.
And I hope no situation ever comes that ever changes.
It never should.
Right? Never should. Only get better.
Yes.
Not the other way around.
Turbulence always comes, but you know that's the only part of the journey. That's part of that. Not a journey, right? So now a little bit into your luxury life. You know, people might want to know inside Dr. Sabharwal's life. I know you've built yourself an empire, and it took you time. You know, it's hard work. People only see the fruit. They don't see the tree planting. They don't see the soil, the water, the mixture. And I got to understand a lot of that about you. But now let's get to the fruit. You do have some admiration for fancy things. You know, I remember walking into your office and I saw these pens.
Yes.
And they looked like, you know, pens like from the 18th century. And you know, the highest level of collectibles. Share a little bit of that with us.
So I'll share a bit of background about my habit of collecting and stuff. And a lot of these things have to do with my youth.
So Dr. Sabharwal, we're about to, now we're going to do some fun. Spice it up a little bit.
Okay.
You know, light up a little fire.
All right.
Get to hear some real insight of Dr. Sabharwal's life. So what's the first thing you do when you wake up in the morning?
Say God's name.
Amazing. That makes the two of us. What is the biggest lesson the dentistry industry has taught you?
How to communicate effectively without hesitation, and how to make sure your message gets across properly.
One word your closest friends use to describe Dr. Sabharwal.
Innocent.
Coffee order. How many coffees do you have per day?
Many. I don't keep count. But I do like a double shot espresso with a splash of milk.
So now here's my question. You just mentioned many. I see you having those like lavish coffees at your house. Like, how do you get that? Like, Starbucks doesn't make this. Neither does the second cup.
It's called a Gaggenau coffee maker. You press the button, it does the job.
Gaggenau. So what is, another interesting question, what is the most satisfying part of running your own practice?
The fact that you get to lead by example. You're a leader when you have to be. You're a co-worker when you have to be. You're a problem solver when you have to be. You could wear many, many, many hats, and you lead by example.
That's actually great for everybody listening. Always lead by example. What's one habit you swear by for staying focused?
Believing that things are not in my control. I could only control my actions, but not the outcome.
So another question I have. So if you weren't a dentist, what would your career path look like?
From the beginning or from this point on?
From the beginning? You're graduating from university fresh, running shoes on.
I would be involved in creating mathematical models to project certain scenarios, because that's what I did in my undergraduate training.
Okay, interesting. A personal, I want to understand this because I'm getting to know you better, of course. What's one thing that people always get wrong about you?
They think I am a little cocky and arrogant.
They definitely got that wrong. I haven't seen that even once. Like the camera team behind our podcast, they're cocky, but like I haven't seen that with you at all. A book, a quote, or a mindset that you live by?
Dream big.
This is for me, because I want to really be able to relate this to people. So what motivates you every day? Like, you get up in the morning, you say the Lord's name, right? Goddess's name. What propels you forward? Like, what is that driving force, that motivator?
The fact that my existence has meaning. I've been put on this planet to do something bigger than myself. And that motivates me.
Very well put. I think, with this being said, I want to do, a couple rapid fires with you, go through a couple questions, make it a little spicy, make it fun. What can people expect from your podcast in the next 5 to 8 months?
People can expect that I will always talk about things which are true. I will always talk about the journey, and I will always talk about uplifting others. Because if we, through our journeys, and for the journeys of other individuals who are invited to this podcast, to this stage. If we can uplift even one person out there, even one, we've done our job. And that's what you can expect. Uplift, make people feel positive, allow people to understand one thing. Like I said before, when things are not working the way you want, don't worry, that will change. Everything changes. That too will change.
Yes, just weather the storm.
Weather the storm.
Weather the storm. No, 100%. I've seen a lot of highs and lows as well. And sometimes your minds get stuck in that thought process. And if it's raining, it's gonna, sun's gonna come out.
Absolutely, always does. And after every dark night, there's a bright, beautiful morning, isn't there?
And that's it. And I think if a lot of people start getting to that mindset, it's tough.
It doesn't come early. It comes with experience. It comes with time. It comes with that maturity that you get through real life experiences.
Right. Well, thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Vrind.
And I think we are going to create an amazing podcast. I think a lot of people are going to get a chance to know Dr. Vageesh Sabharwal's journey, what he wants to do for the community. People are going to understand that beyond just being a doctor, you have a compassion for something and passion for the people. And I think this is why we're doing this. So without giving any further, we got to leave it, things a little mysterious. There's got to be a little bit of spices, the cinnamons and the cloves and cardamom. They got to be left on the table so we can come and cook up something next week again.
Absolutely. Thank you, Vrind.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Sabharwal.
Thank you.